Speaksies.
This is the True Podcast.
True Podcast.
About a few acquaintances
forced to stay at home and have their feelings recorded.
Find out what happens when people stop going out.
And start getting real.
About toilet paper.
We're your hosts, Scott and Erin.
This is Panic at the Costco.
Anyway, so today we're going to talk about what it's like being in quarantine as an introvert, an ambivert, or an extrovert. But first of all, how is everyone doing? And Adam, thank you for joining us. Lauren, thank you for coming back. And Erin, as always, good to see you.
You too.
How are you doing?
I feel like every day is just, I don't know. The last 2 days, I feel like haven't changed much, like I feel like the news, it's been pretty consistent, right? Like there's been no major shakeups. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but I watched, the governor speak and everything. And so everything just seems to be pretty status quo-ish for the time of COVID. I don't know. And so that actually made me feel better. The last 2 days, I felt less on edge because there hasn't been crazy.
Well, do you mean how do you mean with that? Because I guess you mean like the first episode, schools had just closed down.
Right.
And it seems like there have been these big announcements every other day. I think I will tell you what kind of freaked me out. I mean, not to take away from the positive spin you have right here, but it felt like maybe we were flattening the curve, right? Like 2 days ago. So today, as we record this, is April 8th. I want to say April 6th, there was like a slight drop in new cases and deaths. But then yesterday was like horrible. And I have no idea today because clearly I've been sleeping for the last hour and a half, so I haven't seen the numbers. But I know what you're saying,
well,
kind of,
like,
in that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like the plateau, like New York is seemingly starting to plateau. So I feel like that's a positive, but does that mean it's going to start, ramping up in other places? But, we'll take what we can get, I guess.
Exactly. And are you afraid a little bit afraid that if the media starts saying, oh, look, we've had like a good day, then people are like, screw the masks, like I'm going to Lowe's, like if we have, a bit of a positive spin, or there's a bit of,
we let our guard down.
Early, we let our guard down. We start thinking like, great, done, and done too soon, and then that would be disastrous. So it's like you almost wish that you just instill more fear until we really have.
But I feel like there's like a fine line of like just the news, like just instilling fear in everyone versus reporting just news, right? Because like the Today Show for the past, however many weeks is, started off with the blue flash screen and, the coronavirus epidemic or pandemic. And, it was a special edition. But like on Tuesday, I think it went back to the orange, friendly, normal Today Show thing. And I was just like, oh, things are starting to get somewhat back to normal, but not. They still are talking about how severe it is and how you have to do all these things. But it wasn't like that fear sensationalizing potentially or something like that,
It wasn't the cell image, the image of the
I guess it's a balance, but it's almost like one of those things where I was thinking about this early as I was washing my hands. See, I washed my hands for 18 seconds, and let me tell you why. Because if it really takes 20 seconds, they would have said 25. No, I'm just joking. But you know what I mean? It's like doctors tell you don't eat the day before surgery, but it's like, well, my surgery is at this time tomorrow. And what if my surgery is at this time? I really could eat. Yeah, I mean, there's always like the buffer they put in for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joking when I say that, by the way. I see. What is your face about, Lauren?
Just I know people that have ignored that eating before surgery rule, and they end up having to delay their surgery because when you get like the anesthesia, it can make you sick. So if there's like food in your stomach, you can like throw it up and like aspirate it. So
I've never had surgery. I'm just saying, I do think that, get back to like the what we were talking about though. Yes, we want to take things seriously. We talked with Garth about the whole thing with like in Sweden. They haven't done anything other than tell people just act like adults during all this, and it's kind of worked okay. But that's because they're already have a culture where there's a good relationship between the government and the people, and they just act more like adults than we do, I guess. I don't know. That's my interpretation of it. So here it's like,
and they're a clean people.
yeah, they are a clean folk. So either way, I don't know. And that's one of the things that we've talked about here is like, should we be mega freaked out? I remember at first, a lot of people were saying, well, this is just media hype. The flu is worse. I mean, there's still people saying that. And then it's like, well, no, that's not true. And then, but then it's like the swing of the everybody panic. We don't need to do that either. So, and everybody is going to act differently just based on their personalities or whatever. So anyway.
As we found out, and I'm busy writing our disclaimer, please wash your hands for 20 seconds.
At least 18 seconds. At least 18.
At least 18. A good, with 2, a little bit of happy birthday and a little bit of clap at the end.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Good times. So, okay. So there's apparently three different personality types now, because I had no idea. I'd never heard of an ambivert. Now, Lauren says she has. Have you, Adam, heard of an ambivert? I've been saying that right? No.
Yeah, you're saying
Yeah,
right.
I believe so. I mean, I've heard about it. I've never really seen the bullet points of what makes one an ambivert. But I feel like I've always been kind of a combination of the two. So it depends on the situation. So I feel validated that I am a real ambivert.
So you didn't have to box yourself into extrovert or introvert. And now you have the freedom, right, of being in between. And that being okay. Would you have classified, Scott, would you have classified yourself as either an extrovert or an introvert before? Or now you're maybe an ambivert, and what do you think?
Well, definitely, I've always thought of myself as an extrovert, and over time, I don't know if it's just getting older that I start thinking I'm not as much, and I've never heard when you texted me, said, have you heard of an ambivert? I straight up thought it was a medication. I was like, talk to your doctor about ambivert. It's like,
the drug names these days.
Like, what are you trying to tell me? Yeah.
For a minute, no, because it was right after we had talked about something else, and I can't remember what it was. And I literally thought you were suggesting medication for a second. I'll have to go back and find that. But after reading the infograph found on the internet or wherever you found it, so I look at what's in extrovert. Enjoys spending time with others, outgoing, works on teams. That's big. I love to work on teams, and that's one of the things I'm struggling with now is not having people around me. I know, like Erin, we've talked about, and or I know Lauren's more in that boat. I think Erin's used to working from home. Likes to talk things out with others. That's clearly me. I look at introvert. None of that rings true. Ambivert, the one that I would say it says enjoys others but needs alone time. As I've gotten older and more recently, I love alone time, and I'm like, anytime like I could go be doing some plans, going out somewhere, I go, would this be better than just me being at home by myself? And that would usually be, yes, go have fun. As I've gotten older, it's been like, no. But as an extra ambivert, this is tough, not being able to do things. I'm glad we have this. I'm glad we have all these Zoom and FaceTime calls. They are helping me through all this. So, yeah, I'd say 80% extrovert, 20% ambivert.
Okay. Lauren, what about you?
Deeply introverted. Like, I remember several times in my life, like taking like the Myers-Briggs personality tests. And every time it was like, like say there were 30 questions, to determine which, and like every time it was like 29 answers would be introvert and like one answer would be extrovert.
Right.
Like it was like, oh, it was very clear I'm an introvert.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, I always thought that if I had to pick, like I always thought I had both qualities, but if I had to pick that I would be an extrovert. But when I see it really in the list, I'm definitely an ambivert, 100%. But I don't know. I agree with you, Scott. Maybe there's more introvert qualities as I've gotten older because I do enjoy spending more time alone. And maybe it's also because I have 3 kids and I don't get as much time alone. But
Yes, that's good.
I think, maybe that's not me necessarily by nature, but definitely more as I've gotten older. And, it's funny because, you've seen me at parties. I'm not reserved, but by nature, if I meet people for the first time, I'm usually not the first one to go up and be like, "Hey, I'm Erin." I definitely wait it out. So I can relate to both, which is why I'm the ambivert, and so glad to now have yet another label on myself.
So do you want to hear the poll results from Twitter? So we have a Twitter, which is Panic Speaksies is the handle. And I only made the poll for like 6 hours because I did it earlier today. So the poll is now closed. Any guesses on? I just literally put that chart out there and I said, how would you describe yourself? And it's introvert, extrovert, ambivert or other. Please describe.
Mhm.
Anyone want to guess the number one answer by a landslide?
I would go with ambivert.
Yeah, I would think that too.
Yeah, I think so too, because it's kind of in the middle. So you'd be like, I don't know, I'll go with this one.
Yeah.
And it's got that cool name that, you would think it would be, but no, by far, introvert came in number one at 54.5%, 27% to 27.3 said ambivert, and then only 18.2 said extrovert. And I don't know if that just means introverts are the ones that are on Twitter, like taking polls. Oh, and one chose other, please describe, but then they did not describe. So I guess I don't know
That
what that
person
means.
doesn't like to be labeled.
Yeah.
I have found
Yeah,
that there's
exactly.
also one called an omnivert. So I don't know if I think that's another term for ambivert maybe. But so there does seem to be a fourth vert.
I'm pretty sure that means they eat introverts and extroverts.
Right.
Not to correct
Yes.
you, but
Yes.
I'm a little bit of a science
That's
nut,
correct.
so yeah. But
It makes sense. It makes sense.
well, then how do you? So and then and I feel like right now we're just plugging our social medias, but on the Facebook page, we got a little bit of engagement there, and a lot of people were saying ambivert, and then it sounds like the introverts are loving this. Like for the most part, I've heard more. Lauren, what do you being the self-described introvert, are you mostly loving this?
I was actually thinking to myself earlier today, I am either handling this whole thing really well or I am in very deep denial. But yeah, I'm kind of a couch potato and a homebody. I love my friends and seeing people and going out occasionally, but like really, I just kind of prefer to, be at home. So this hasn't really been as hard for me as I think it is for some of my friends that like need to be around other people. So yeah, and I think I'm doing all right. Or again, I'm just in denial.
Adam, I know you are, I feel like you're very social. You and Jason are very social people. So how has this affected you? Are you?
Well, it's like day to day, it really hasn't affected us terribly much because, I work from home and he works, at a hospital. So I have to go to work and nothing has changed for me. And he has to go to work and it's scary for him, but he still has to go to work. So, Monday through Friday is really kind of the same. We usually get together with a group of friends every Monday night just for just to kind of get together and blow off steam and recap over the weekend and stuff. And we've been doing that through like House Party or whatever. So it's not the same, but at least it gives us an outlet. The weekends have been a little weirder, just with not being able to run errands or have dinner parties or do whatever. But we've been kind of catching up on other stuff, not necessarily any productive projects, but a lot more homebody of just like, putting on a fire or watching, and watching binge watching stuff or, digging a little bit of stuff around the house and everything. So, I mean, we've tried to, I don't know, because we can be really big homebodies as well. So I think it's just, I don't know. It's different. I miss going out to restaurants. I think we miss that a lot. And we miss having people over for dinner parties or for, get-togethers and stuff. So I guess that's the biggest part. But I think everything is just so weird and time is just flying by that I think we're just kind of taking it day by day and don't really know what day it is anymore. So
I hear that. Today was Friday for a good 2 hours. I was like,
man, why, don't say that, because for a second I actually thought it was Friday. That's how the
Wait,
other
guys,
thing
what day is it? Is it Tuesday? What day is it?
I thought it was Thursday all day because we're off on Friday. So I've been, like forwarding each day a little bit. So I don't know anymore.
It is Wednesday for the record.
It is, correct.
Oh my God. It is Wednesday. I just looked at my phone. Okay. I legitimately thought today was Tuesday.
Oh yeah, it's happening to everybody, and I think, Adam, you're right. And like, I understand what you're saying. Some about it doesn't seem that different in a lot of ways. For like, the weekends seem very weird because it's like the week's over and nothing's changing. We're all still here, But I've worked from home some before, and the other thing is, I mean, it's been 3 weeks. Right, of not going anywhere. Does that sound about right? Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah,
it's not. It's not that, like, if we're talking about this in a month, I think we're going to be singing a little bit of a different tune, because what I was telling Steve, my friend Steve, that some of you guys know, earlier today on the phone, I was like, as long as right now, like, my paychecks keep coming, I mean, because that's the thing that, and I know a lot of people, it's not. I feel very fortunate, so I'm trying not to complain too much about anything. But I'm like, as long as I'm still employed, paychecks are coming, I have food, I can get food. It's not rocking my world yet. I mean, yeah, and my 401k is something I don't want to look at, but like,
yeah, don't do that.
And I'm sorry. And by the way, I'm sorry, I just triggered a lot of people by even saying 401k, but but we'll see where it goes from here. But and do you guys watch the news? And if so, how? I know this isn't really what we were here to talk about, but why not? I'm curious because I'm not really sure what to do about that.
I don't want to. Like, I have put on some of the briefings. Like, I put the governor's briefing on today. I can't watch the news because of my kids, and I don't want, they're still up at 6 o'clock, and I'm in bed by 11 o'clock, so that one's out. In the morning, again, the kids are around. I can't put it on because it's just so, and this has been forever. This has been for years. It's so doom and gloom, right? That I just can't put that in their heads in the morning and at night. And I'm not trying to completely shelter them, but I feel like I need to communicate that information not in an alarmist way. And plus, sometimes you just, you don't know who to trust. I'd rather read. I feel like I can form my own opinion, have it be a little bit more calmly fed to me when I am reading the news versus watching it. So I'll watch the briefings, but I can't watch the actual news.
Yeah.
Can you watch the presidential briefings?
Not without throwing up a little bit in my mouth.
Wanted to see where we were going to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, no, I do watch them. I want to hear what everyone's saying or stumbling on or whatever. I want to hear that, But it's just, I can't spend 15 minutes of just hysteria, at 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, and I know like a lot of older people, like my mom is doing that. She's watched, I feel like she's got the news on in the background, and so many of our parents and grandparents are doing that. And I'm like, God, this is so bad for your mental health. You have got to get away from this.
Yep.
It's bad.
Well, that's the cable news phenomenon really hit, what, 90s, it really started in big time in like the 90s, 2000s. And I think a lot of our parents and stuff, that was like, like how when we're old, we're going to be listening to podcasts and our kids and grandkids are going to be like, they just listen to those things all day long. It's poison, but that's what our parents kind of, I remember going to my dad's house and just him having, Fox News going 24/7. Not so much anymore, but and my mom watches CNN again 24/7. She loves those shows, and that's like their thing. And I get it. You get used to those people. You become fans of the show, but then they control your thought process on so many things.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that again listen to Rush Limbaugh, 24, every single day for however many years, and then it's just like those talking points coming out. So anyway, the issue is though, then when you have a situation like this where you need news, like you need to know what's going on. I know I feel lost. I'm like, I haven't cared that much about, I just have avoided the whole thing, right? I'm not watching any of it because I don't believe anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But now I want the news. I want to know what's going on. So I've watched some of those press briefings as well. And of course, you take it with a boulder of salt, but you're trying to glean information that will help you get to what's actually going on.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird, man.
It is weird.
Just makes me think of the cable news of saying when it started. Didn't it start with the OJ trial? Like, isn't that what spawned cable news in its like current form? So it shows where that
certainly
really.
Certainly the obsession with like the 24-hour coverage with like the court TV and the I would agree with that.
Did you guys watch the OJ trial obsessively? Because I would come home every day after school and turn that on. Like, I watched it every day. And weird fact, my dad went to high school with Marsha Clark. Anyway.
Let's get her on the show.
Like, I'm a little younger than you guys are. I'm not trying to brag about that. But so I remember,
sorry, we can't hear you. There's a lot of static right now. Actually, you're going out. Hey, come back on the show another time. No.
Sure, I'll just close out and dial back in.
You're definitely younger than me.
So I remember like bits and pieces of it. I remember watching like the high-speed chase down the highway and the Bronco and a few other things. But I don't remember it that well. And actually, when I started, like, I guess a couple years ago, they did like documentaries, or like that one show on HBO kind of was like a drama series about it. I did watch them then, and I was like, oh, I had like no idea like that much more was going on. So yeah, I guess I would just pay attention to it.
You were too busy on watching TRL or what was
Clues.
Whatever.
Probably playing with My Little Ponies.
Blue's Clues.
Oh. Dang, how young are you? Yeah. Yeah, you were watching Kite.
Wait, what year was the OJ thing?
95.
95. So I was 10.
94, 95.
Yeah, so I was 10. So I was probably playing with My Little Ponies or playing what was that Nintendo game where you like it was in like Mario Paint or whatever, when you like swatted the flies.
Too old to know that.
Yeah, I'm like.
I don't think it was a game that a lot of people played.
I remember Duck Hunt. I remember.
It was for Super Nintendo, and they had like a mouse you could plug in.
Yeah, that was.
And you could do like Microsoft Paint. It was like Microsoft Paint, but like on the Nintendo, and then there was a few extra features. Okay, I'll have to stop now.
No, go ahead. There's a whole demographic that's hearing you right now screaming the name of it, Or,
like, yes, oh my gosh.
Yes.
No, not at all. I have no idea. That's too funny.
But I tell you what I am doing is playing video games now. I'm not even a gamer, but it's a good so my son and I played this basketball game, NBA 2K, and so I bought it for him so he could have it at his mom's house too. So when I'm here and he's there, we can play it and have the headphones on and stuff. And one thing I realized is kids are used to, like imagine you were in 7th grade, like my son is right now, and you were told no school for the rest of the year, and you can't go outside and do stuff. I mean, you can kind of ride your bike, but you can't go play with your friends. For me, that would be devastating. I'd have no way to contact my friends. I wouldn't know what to do, and they're used to it. They put on their headphones and play Fortnite, and my son has a phone, and he's, it's almost like, like out of you were saying no big difference. It's kind of like no big difference for him. He doesn't miss his friends. He's like, I talk to my friends every day. We play these games together. Yeah. So gaming, but then I've started playing, like Skyrim and some of these other games you just get immersed into. I don't know if any of you guys have, but.
No, I've had a lot of people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've thought about getting a Nintendo Switch just to play that Animal Crossing game because it looks interesting. But we've got other things to deal with that I don't need to be spending that money on.
Well, you're
getting a game that I'll probably pay for. What's that? Yeah, we are getting a pool.
Pool. Can I tell you a conversation that happened yesterday night when I asked Adam to be on the podcast? I forgot how we got into it, but I think maybe you mentioned you were getting a pool, and I'm thinking, and I said, oh my gosh, really? So am I. So send me the link to yours. Thinking like he's getting some redneck Riviera, above ground inflatable pool.
Like inflatable pool.
Oh, right.
And so I was thinking, like, it's on Amazon. Send me the link. And he goes, okay, well, here's the company, and they do this and this. And I'm like, wait a minute.
We're applying for permits, and they're digging in the ground. Like in a couple weeks.
Right? No.
Wait, this isn't hose ready? Like
no. There's a water truck that apparently has to bring like 3 loads of water to fill this thing up. So yeah, we're getting a huge in-ground pool. But it's been kind of a joke and a dream of ours for years now. And I think with all this just being stuck inside and being like, are we ever going to be able to travel again? Or like, when can we actually go somewhere tropical or with a pool or whatever? So we were just like, you know what? Why not? Just, why not? So we're going to get a pool in a couple weeks. So.
But you also, okay, so not long ago, tell me when you got back, because I can't remember, but it was at end of February or beginning of March. You went on a Disney cruise. So you were on a cruise ship not too long ago. So Adam got to take his Disney trip. I did not. I'm just going to remind everybody.
Sorry.
We right now.
it was her friend's 40th birthday, and her husband surprised her with a cruise for just her and her husband. They were going to leave the kids at home and take me and Jason instead.
On a Disney cruise? That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was amazing. We went to Disney World the Saturday before. We went to Hollywood Studios that Sunday before. Got to ride that new Rise of the Resistance ride. And then on Monday, we got on a Disney cruise and cruised for 4 days, and then came back on Friday. And we were like, well, if this is it, we went out with a bang. Without having kids and stuff, there was plenty of adult sections. There was plenty of just things to do that you didn't even notice the kids and stuff. And it was a nice vacation.
Was anybody worried on the cruise ship? Because that was just really the start.
It was.
Where did you go? Late February?
Yeah, it was. We left on March 1st, I think, or March 2nd. So it was like we were like getting daily emails of like, we're looking at this, we're sanitizing everything and we think everything's good. They were rerouting anybody that was flying through Italy or China to get to, Florida to take off from it. And I think there were 2 more sailings after ours for 4 days, and then they shut it down. They have 2 ships, and like their sister ship went out on the day that we got back, left out of New Orleans, And I think there are now like 22 cast members or crew members on that ship that have coronavirus, and they're having to reach out to everybody that was on the ship and all that kind of stuff. So we dodged a bullet, and it was probably not the smartest thing we could have done, but I think it was before they were starting to allow people to reschedule and get refunds and everything. So it was kind of like, we're just going to take our chances. And that was it.
So, Erin, is there anything else that you'd like to confront Adam with that, his better pool, Disney? I feel like this is very therapeutic for you. What?
Yeah. It is. I'm like, why is Adam living my best life?
I know. I was like, I just want to go live with Adam. I want to go on Disney cruises and have a pool in my backyard.
And he's got a bulldog named Mike.
Oh, I love bulldogs.
Yeah. So everybody.
Adam, are you in Richmond?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm your new friend, Lauren.
Yep.
Call me when you have a pool party.
Bulldog Pro Party. After the pandemic passes.
We're already planning your pool party.
Yeah, my husband is great at cooking, and we can bring massive amounts of food.
Perfect. I like it. We were talking with our friends that we went on the cruise with, and she was telling her husband, like, they've gotten the pool, they bought it, it's really happening. He's just like, do you think it'll be in time for our 4th of July party? And she's like, what 4th of July party are you talking about? He's like, we're just going to have one there. It's like, so people are already planning parties at our house. Okay. And, so.
That sounds good. Do you think that cruises are, like, I've never been on a cruise. I've been on like a 3-hour tour.
3-hour tour.
Exactly.
Sorry.
But I've never been on a cruise, and it's, we were thinking about Disney cruise if we didn't go to Disney World. And part of me thinks, this would be an awesome thing because everything, it's all paid for, the food, everything's just there. It feels so easy, right? But then the other part of me is thinks, I don't know, I feel maybe this is where my introvert side comes in. Like, there's just so many people everywhere at all times. And then the rooms are small. So then your escape isn't that, there's no escape from people. I don't know. Is that right, Adam? Or am I, and other, if you guys have cruised, please.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell my experience. And it's very, I think it's a little bit different just because I didn't realize this, but Disney cruises are, the ships are a little bit, are bigger. The rooms are bigger. The things are just done a little bit differently there. So I'm also kind of an introvert, and it wasn't bad. I mean, there was definitely ways to get away. Like, I didn't feel like claustrophobic at any time or anything like that. It is great because it is all taken care of. You don't have to worry about anything. You just, you have a room attendant that comes in and does all your, gets everything nice for your room. Your servers travel with you. So you see the same servers for lunch and dinner, and they get to know your preferences and stuff. So they have drinks waiting for you.
This sounds super fancy.
Your server travels with you. So around the place. So you're just like, can I get another? That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard of.
Butler?
No, it's only
more sandwiches.
When you have lunch and dinner, or I guess it was only dinner, or maybe it was lunch. I don't know. But in any case, you saw, we had Jean-Pierre and his assistant guy with us, every night at dinner and stuff. So they would have our drinks ready. They would have all of our stuff and kind of knew our preferences and stuff. So that was
JP,
nice.
JP and the crew. No, this is amazing. But then do you just, if this is too personal of a question, but you just hook them up at the end of the thing, you tip them out pretty well. I mean, that's a pretty good setup. I like that.
It was pretty cool. We had, I will say, the other day I was getting my trackpad for my computer was running low, so I reached into my drawer and I saw the lightning cable was all tidied up and nicely tied with a little Velcro thing around it, and I was like, oh, I miss Pong, because our room attendant would the first night he came in while we were out on the deck or whatever, and he tidied up and Velcroed all of our cords and our lightning cables and tidied everything up, and we were just kind of wow, that was a good 4 days before coronavirus.
Sounds
It's
like
the little
heaven.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
But yeah, no, we were very hesitant to go on a cruise. We'd never gone. We've always said, like, it just seems overwhelming, and if you don't like it, you can't leave. But at the end, we were like, we could have totally stayed for 3 or 4 more days, and it was totally worth it. So
Erin, you haven't been on a cruise. Lauren, have you been on a cruise?
I have.
What's your takeaway? Did you have servers that traveled with you and stuff, or
I do
is this
remember
more?
having the same servers every night for dinner.
Okay.
yes.
So I was 17 and I went, okay, so my two of
this
my
was
friends,
2 years ago. No.
right. God, what year was that? Oh,
don't.
I can't do the math.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. And it was my friend's family reunion. So 2 of my friends' parents were dating each other. So 2 of my really good friends' families like went on this cruise with my friends' like family reunion. And at the last minute, one of their siblings didn't want to go, so I got to fill the spot. So it was a Carnival cruise. We went to like Nassau, Bahamas. I think it was like 4 or 5 days, and I loved it. Well, first of all, I think it was the 24-hour self-serve, soft serve ice cream that really did it for me. But it did very much feel like, even though there were a lot of people around, like they were ignoring everyone else, so even if you were on like a crowded deck by the hot tub, like no one was really paying attention to you. So like it still felt pretty cozy. So I had a really good time. Would I want to go on one now? Not sure. Did I have a great time when I was 17? Yes.
Listen.
But Disney's cruise sounds awesome. Oh, did they like fold your towels into little animals?
Yeah, there was a different animal every night. Yeah, with chocolates and all that kind of good stuff.
Was it a Disney animal? Was it a character like Mickey Mouse?
No, there was like an aardvark one night, or an anteater. I'm not sure. There was some type of like manta ray. At the hotel on Disney property, there was a Mickey Mouse made out of the towels. So
Okay, let's roll back here. What's the difference between, what did you say, an aardvark and an anteater? I thought they were the same
thing. Okay,
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if they are. You seemed like you know, so I was going to ask you because I don't know.
Well, I said aardvark, and our friends were like, "Yeah, I think it was an anteater," and I was like, "Okay," and because I kind of thought the same thing, that they were one and the same, but maybe not. I don't know.
I think it'd be really hilarious if you demanded an anteater. Say, that's 3 nights in a row I've had an aardvark.
Yeah.
I come here for my towels and an anteater. Damn it. But it's like a schooner and a sailboat,
Mm-hmm.
A schooner is a sailboat.
Little mole rats. All right, so Erin, what's up? You were trying to say something.
No, I just like I think a cruise appeals to me so much because it's easy. People are taking care of you. You've got your own little Jean-Pierre running around. And I just feel like, if I really want to relax and not worry about a thing, that's the way to go. But I have a little bit of a phobia when it comes to buffets. Not a buffet. Like
we ate a buffet one time. You don't have to, like, there's sit-down meals.
Okay. I just picture people like, it's the same thing that let me bring it back to Costco. Like when you're waiting in line for the samples, or I don't wait in the line for the samples, but watching other people in a buffet or a sample line makes me feel physically ill. Just
Why?
Like they're salivating over the food.
Everyone's touching everything.
They're like heavy breathing. Their eyes are bulging out. They you can just feel the anticipation, like they can't wait. They need to get to that roll first. It just like, I even ever since I was a kid, like I think maybe we went to too many Shoney's or something.
Yeah.
Really
now that does sound like Shoney's standing there with their plate, like,
yeah.
Or the Golden Corral.
The Golden Corral.
There's that chocolate fountain that kids are just dipping their hands in.
That's
And the
there was none of that.
Yeah.
List of places that you went as a kid all the time that you would never go to as an adult. So like Shoney's and Golden Corral are definitely top of that list. Denny's. I guess that's probably the
That's
holy
it for me
trinity,
too.
the holy trinity of stuff I wouldn't go to now. Damn, there go our sponsorships for that. But
Oh well.
Well, I feel like there were some in Blacksburg or Christiansburg that were borderline a no. Like I can't remember, not Waffle House, but
Like there was a CC's that I'm not. Yeah. Oh God, the face Scott is making right now.
The idea of CC's is like, so once again, we're just sponsors are dropping like flies, but I'm not. I'd rather do it. I would never go back to it because that's like
Yeah.
there was one I think in Lynchburg. I think there was either it's like a knockoff CC's, but like a pizza buffet. That's nasty. I don't know why, but okay. How do you guys feel about Sushi King?
Oh, okay. I can't do it anymore.
Why?
That was an incident.
Like I went a couple of times with one of my friends, and like after like the third time, I was just like, I just don't know if I should be doing this. I never got sick from it or anything, but there was just a certain point where I was just like, I just don't know how good this is for me, so I'm just not going to go anymore. Okay. Oh, but I was talking to my sister the other day. So my sister's 50th birthday is next week. Happy birthday, Tara. And we can't go now because of all of this. And she lives in Las Vegas. And so we were all going to go out there for her birthday. And yeah, and so we were talking about, she's like, oh yeah, like how buffets will be for like, the famous Vegas buffets. They probably won't have them anymore after this because everyone's touching the same utensils and all of that. And I'm like, well, that's a shame because Vegas is so well known for that. And there were a few really nice ones that Bowling and I were looking forward to eating at that we probably won't get to now whenever we end up there. So,
speaking of buffets, this makes me bring up or think of something that's truly sad as a society that we had to bring into play because of this is, sneeze guards at a buffet, right? Because you have to protect things from that. I was at Kroger the other day and they now have sneeze guards in between the cashiers and the patron. And I'm just like, that's happening for a reason. It's because these people probably get sneezed on fairly regularly. And that's really sad that we have to put up sneeze guards for cashiers that are, putting their lives on the line to come in and help us. Yeah. It's just sad.
It's also
it's gross.
Go ahead, Erin.
No, how often are we gonna think about, and maybe we'll forget all about it, and we've talked about this in other podcasts, like, or other episodes that, life after this, are we gonna keep those sneeze guards up? Or are we going to be like, whatever, I forget about germs, and just go back to normal? Or are we going to seriously think about food service and all of every single area of our lives in how it relates to germs? I don't see us doing that.
I think it depends on how bad it gets, Erin. Like, I think that if this is the worst week and it's really bad and in a month from now, we're back out there, I think we'll start to forget about it. I think this goes on for a while or it like comes back, like you were saying. And I think we might get to a point where we make a step change in how we do all this. But, we've talked before about how we do go back to our old ways pretty quickly. And
I do.
maybe,
I mean, I was going to say, I like a little bit of personal space that's coming out of this, right? Like, so you don't have somebody breathing down your neck when you're standing in line at the grocery store, or you have a little bit of extra room and stuff. And I hope that sticks around. I mean, it's kind of nice.
Can you imagine for those of us who grew up in Richmond and were so familiar with U-Crops and the way that U-Crops, so when you checked out at U-Crops, it was like I'm pretty sure they had a script. So you would check out, if you had dog food, they'd ask you what kind of dog you have. Oh, how old is your dog? What kind of dog? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're getting these rolls. Are they good rolls? I've never had these rolls before. So they constantly engage you in this conversation where, like, my parents are from New York City and we moved down here from New Jersey, and they were like, what do they want from us? Why do they keep talking to us?
What do they want from us?
Here. Yeah.
Why won't they stop talking? Hey, here's $5. Shut up.
Actually, my dad did try to tip the the grocery cart attendant the first time we went. And he's like, come on, take it. And they're like, no, sir, we really can't take your tip.
Yeah.
But, cultural differences here. Can you imagine the old U crops in the time of COVID? Like, what would they be doing? To be behind sneeze guards is like denying these cashiers just like, their personality, their script. I don't know. I feel like
you can still talk through the sneeze guards.
Just no eye contact. That's all.
Right.
Okay.
No, I know what you mean, though, Erin. I mean, I feel like
you can't linger.
I feel guilty. Yeah. So I like what Adam said. Like, I do also like the space a little bit at the store, although it's this weird thing. Like, I always feel like I'm the one they're trying to avoid. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm like kind of burly, bearded guy walking through, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get close to you, ma'am. But then when I check out, I do feel kind of like I'm sorry, I'm here. But then I go, well, y'all got jobs because people are still having to make these trips. So, but then what do you do? So it's like, if you pay, you're not really supposed to pay with cash, or I guess you can, but the cash is dirty. I'm like, I'm sorry. But then you push the buttons on the keypad. I don't know, like everything I do, don't you like think about like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I'm either getting infected or infected somebody,
So I've been using Apple Pay.
Yeah.
So I can just hold my phone up to the thing.
That's a good idea. Yes.
But at the grocery store near our house, I'm actually really concerned because they don't have the sneeze guards up in front of the cashiers. None of them seem to be wearing gloves or masks. And I'm almost concerned that the company isn't providing them for their workers. And that concerns me. If they choose not to wear them, that's one thing, but they should have the option. And I hope they're properly being taken care of.
Yeah, and I've been doing the Apple Pay thing too for the few times that I've gone out. But like, they're always like, "Oh, we'll enter your ID so you can get rewards points or whatever." And I'm just kind of like, "But that defeats the whole purpose. I don't want to touch the buttons." Like,
I can't believe I forgot about Apple Pay, because you're absolutely right. That's what we should be doing, because I do have that.
Yeah.
But
it's great.
Yeah, I got an email from, well, you know how we were joking before, like you get emails from like every CEO of every company you've ever done business with or thought about doing business with, but I got something from Kroger, and they're like, okay, we're doing all this stuff for our employees, and we're going to start limiting people coming in to 50% of the capacity. So, I mean, stuff's starting to happen there. But now, to go back, I think, I don't know if I know exactly, but I think, Adam, you said, or Erin said, that your spouse works is a doctor or nurse or
something he's in the medical field. Yeah, he works in a hospital. Yeah.
So how's that with? I mean, is it? It's got to be scary.
It's terrifying. I mean, he says the vibe in the hospital is, it's everybody's anxious, everybody's a little on edge, as they should be. I mean, I think everybody needs a little bit of fear when they're working, in an environment like that. But, they're doing everything they can with, providing masks and hand sanitizer and everything. And, when he comes home, I have to hold the dog back so she doesn't run up and jump on him, because he goes immediately into the, the bathroom and, takes a shower and puts his scrubs in a, in a enclosed place. So it's, he tries to not contaminate as much as possible. But, it's just kind of what it is.
Well, and I guess the thing is, again, we talked about not knowing about the news, but I don't think that you're just going to catch it. I mean, I do believe they've said that it's kind of aerosolized or whatever, but somebody really have to really freaking sneeze in your face or cough on you, or you're making really close contact. So if you're doing all the stuff you're supposed to be doing with washing and everything, it should be okay. But still, I mean, scarier than if you have a spouse that's staying at home all day with you. Although maybe not, because I don't know, Erin, how is that all day long with this stuff?
Well, that, I am used to.
Right.
Because we've both worked from home for a long time, but I can definitely see, and I've talked to other friends who they're doing this for the first time with their spouse, and they're getting on each other's last nerve. And I'm not saying we don't either, because we do, but I think that not any more than usual. Let's put that.
You've built up the immunity because you've been doing it for a while. I know, and I mean, we had talked about doing a whole episode where we talk about this stuff, but it's just, somebody had posted, and also like the thing with having kids home or not having kids home. I've seen people posting memes about like, never been so happy to not have kids, to not be stuck at home with kids. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I see that kind of, but see, I'm in a situation where I miss the hell out of my kids. Like when I don't have them, I'm lonely as hell. I'm bored. And I know, Lauren, has there been any developments on your end since we last talked? Or are you still not been able to see your stepkids?
They haven't stayed with us, but we have been able to FaceTime with them, and I miss them a lot.
Yeah.
It's been tough.
Yeah.
But it's like, but what's the right thing to do? Like they traveled kind of recently, and like how do we, and some people don't present symptoms. How do we know we're not going to infect each other? Or, how do we know we're not going to then pass it on to someone else? And so I don't know. I really, really miss them, but we also want to make sure we do the right thing. So.
Yeah. Well, when it's all over, we all, you know what, you get them and we all go to Adam's pool and we're gonna make up for the lost time is what I'm saying.
But I am, well, okay, even if they were here with us during the day while we're working, like it wouldn't really be that bad. They're really independent, very well behaved children. I feel like they're like almost teenagers now. So I mean, it really wouldn't be that disruptive if they were here as far as working during the day, but like I still am kind of thrilled that like I don't have children here during the day while I'm trying to work, because one of my friends has 3 kids at home, all under the age of 6. And I see what she's going through right now, and I'm glad that that's not a layer of this problem that I have to deal with.
Yeah, I've met a lot of my coworkers' children, over FaceTime or, go to meetings and Teams calls and stuff. Just a little head pops over and is.
But like we said, everyone's dealing with it now, so it's like not a faux pas. It would have been in the past. Like if you're at home on a call and there's some kid, you're like, get a hold of your fucking kid, But now it's like everyone's dealing with it. And Erin,
kids,
I know
pets, everything. I want to see them all.
Yeah, pets. I mean, honestly, because I am the type that's like when you hear dogs barking on conference calls, and you're just like, I like dogs, but like mute your freaking phone, dude. Like, but now it's like it is what it is. Nobody cares.
That's so funny because, and maybe Adam, you're dealing with this problem because you have a bulldog, but when I had 2 pugs, they would go right on my foot, and pugs are loud and they snore and they snort and they have horrible gas and make horrible sounds all the time. And especially as they get older, and this was back a few years ago, like when, people loved getting on Skype. Now we don't get on Skype as much, or now we do, but we didn't for a while. Anyway, so for conference calls and Skypes, like I would have to just shoo them and mute because people would hear their sounds and I'm like, okay, this is the dogs again. Let me show you who's not here.
Yeah, sure. The dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Peggy's snoring gets really intense. Like it's like at night, she's in the dining room, like where her crate is, and it's 2 rooms away. And, I can hear her snoring. I mean, she sounds like a middle-aged man that needs a CPAP machine. I mean, it is really intense.
Ooh,
so that happens a lot.
CPAP.
That's right. She snores a lot, and that happens. And then she also talks. So she grumbles and does these crazy noises and stuff. So but yeah, just like you, I have to spend a lot of time on mute and then explain that the dog is, sleeping or wants to do something. So,
Maybe she's just an extrovert. She wants to talk.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. She is the life of the party. And it has been funny, like walking around the neighborhood, people will literally like run out of their house and come and, ask to pet her and stuff. So she is because
dogs can't get the virus, right?
I don't, there's debate now because of that tiger.
Okay, how did that tiger get a test? And I don't.
Right?
I think it's just more cross marketing with Tiger or
Tiger
Tiger King or whatever.
Burger
But
King.
Got to bring it
Yeah.
back again. But it, right, I agree. I think if they had suspected, or maybe they have tested other animals, but only the tiger is newsworthy right now. So like a baboon could have gotten it, a dog could have gotten it. They're like, you know what? No, this is the tiger. Let's
Too
cap.
good.
Well, but I feel like if dogs could get it, I mean, there would be lots of dogs dying or presenting symptoms, you would think, and that would be a news story. So I feel like dogs are probably good, but it is still a little concerning. You know, like when you walk around the neighborhood, do you let them pet your dog? We've been letting people, but.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be the dog getting it and passing it to you. It would be the, whatever's on the person transferring.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
I don't know. So I have one question for you guys that I wanted to make sure I posed before we, not saying we have to wrap up, but just before we wrap up.
I have a question too.
Do you? Okay. Well, do you want to do yours?
Nope, you go first.
Okay, so here's my question. Is anybody else finding that they're eating way more cheese? I feel like all I do is eat cheese. Is that just me? I
am already a cheese lover. And every night around 11 o'clock, I eat a slice of American cheese. And it's the fancy Deli Deluxe, like legit American cheese, not like the kind that's like wrapped in the cellophane. Like it's the most real cheese American cheese could be.
Speaking of things you ate as a kid that you wouldn't eat now, right? Like the cheese, but
cheese product.
No, I think I'm eating just as much cheese now as I ever have, but I'm still having my nightly slice of American cheese at 11 o'clock.
Okay. Well, it hit me earlier today. I'm like, I think for whatever reason, I just keep buying more cheese and I'm eating cheese. I think that's been my coping mechanism through all this alcohol intake certainly up a little bit, but I've tried to curb that. Cheese intake up a lot. And I think I need to curb that as well. But is anybody finding themselves with any new like food obsessions, or is it just make it up if not? Because now I feel really dumb.
No, I've been making
comfort food. I think cheese is a comfort food. Well, it's an American comfort food, right? So, whether it's mac and cheese or American cheese, like brings you back to your childhood or whatnot. Like that's a total comfort food. I haven't had any I haven't had any cravings, I have to say, like not yet. Adam, have you?
I've started drinking smoothies for breakfast and lunchtime. They've been really good. So, like I had that like vegetable, or not vegetable, but like the green powder that's supposed to be healthy and protein packed and stuff. So, and I've really enjoyed those. So that's good, I guess.
That sounds healthy.
I think you and I are doing maybe the same thing subconsciously because, well, maybe more consciously. I don't know. But I've bought a ton of kombucha because I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking I need maybe some probiotics, or maybe I have got to get my gut health in check so I can be prepared to fight this fire. I don't love kombucha, but for some reason,
I do.
Panic bought it. So,
well, I think probiotics are good.
I've also been making smoothies most mornings with like spinach and frozen strawberries and bananas and stuff. And I've actually really been enjoying it. And I've been kind of thinking, so I'm the kind of person that wakes up in like just enough time to get ready for work and leave the house and get to work.
Right.
So like now that I have a little more time in the morning, like I have really enjoyed making smoothies. And I think if I don't continue that when we go back to regular life, that I'll probably miss it.
All right, I'm going to start trying to make smoothies. I'll cut back on my cheese. I guess I could incorporate cheese into the smoothie, but it doesn't sound too appetizing.
Get like the packet of powdered cheese from like the Kraft mac and cheese and just dump that in. And
how bad can that be?
That's got to be good for you.
Yummo. Let's do that. All right, so Lauren, you wanna maybe hit us with your question next?
I'm curious how other people are dealing with physical contact. So I do live with my husband, but I'm a pretty affectionate person, and I really miss seeing and hugging my friends. And I just didn't know if anyone else was kind of missing that, I don't know, hugging their friends or being physically close to them. I mean, video chats are great, but it's kind of not the same as being physically close to people.
Maybe that's why I'm eating so much cheese. I'm the only single person here, right? I don't have anybody here, and dating is hard right now. So overall, I miss physical touch very much. That's my love language.
I think with friends and things like I feel like that with, like family members and things like nieces and nephews and stuff. And my friends are kind of spread out all over the place. Like I miss hanging out with them, and we've tried to do that with Skype or Zoom or whatnot. I do miss that to a certain degree, but I think about people that I know, maybe like you, Lauren, or my neighbor, Eric, Scott.
He's got to be going insane. Poor guy.
I see him, and I'm, like, he is the type of guy that is always gonna come up to me every single day. We're all standing at the bus stop. He shakes everybody's hand. He gives you a hug. Good morning. He is just the nicest, just very affectionate, warm person. And I think about how hard it is for him and people, like you, Lauren, who that's such a big part of their love language and their personality that's got to be tough. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert, physical touch, transcends those different personality types. And I get it. And living alone or living, with limited contact, it's got to be rough.
Because I've seen my parents, they live in town, but I don't go near them, and I haven't been able to hug them in weeks, because if they get sick because of me, I'm going to feel horrible, especially my dad, who's going through cancer treatments and already has a compromised immune system. Not being able to hug my parents or my niece and my nephew or my friends, it's been hard for me. And don't get me wrong, I love on my husband all the time. I get plenty of hugs and affection from him, but I just miss holding other people that I love.
That's very sweet. That is sweet. Adam, what about you? Are you touchy-feely?
I'm not a big touchy-feely person.
Touchy-feely.
I'm good.
Answer for you, but I'm like, I don't know if Adam is too much.
Good.
I hug my kids a lot.
Okay, so for those of you listening and not watching the YouTube video, Adam has moved from another room into his kitchen, and I see, even though the background is blurred, I see beautiful white cabinets with gorgeous gold hardware, and it looks like a very fancy oven. So now not only am I jealous of his Disney cruise and built-in in-ground pool in the backyard he's going to have, I'm now also incredibly jealous of his kitchen.
All right.
I've seen his house, and you would be right to be jealous. So.
Yeah. Thank you. No, my battery was dying, and the plug is on the island, so I had to relocate.
That's awesome. Well, guys, I mean, we maybe we'll have you back. We're hoping to do an episode on love in the time of COVID or something like that, where we talk more about relationships or lack thereof, and without getting maybe over a PG-13 rating. We'll see how that goes. Depends who we get on. I don't think we can have Garth on, that's for sure.
I gotta say, I was listening to the Garth episode earlier, and I am super bummed that I missed out on the Billy Madison discussion, because I can pretty much recite that entire movie from beginning to end. So.
Suntan lotion, good for me. You protect me. We could do it. I mean, but I don't.
Okay, do you guys know the show Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yeah.
Should we do an episode where we watch Billy Madison and then comment on it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure the copyright issues, but
yeah,
people do that. We'll figure it out.
I mean, like Costco is probably already going to sue us anyway, so we might as well.
Yeah.
Oh, by the
told-
way, I was
Yeah.
eating these earlier. I actually have a Costco-size peanut M&M jar right next to me that I got at Costco a few weeks ago. So
I liked it. I like that the label's blurred, like it's product placement that we can't show. It's like it reminds me of the real world when they had like the 7-Up can that was blurred. Or
I just don't know how to get a camera to focus because I'm not good at technology. But
yeah, well, we're all having. I mean, I think again going back to cheese, buying the bulk of things and then eating them and being like, oh God, I got to go get more of that. But I'm so glad that you're a Billy Madison fan. And Adam, thank you for being here, and we'd love to have you join us again sometime. Lauren, I have to tell you something that that Erin and I said, or I said to Erin and she agreed, and I really want you to take this in the spirit in which it is intended, which is a really shitty thing for somebody to say, but really I mean this. We were talking last night about doing this tomorrow, and I was like, she was like, Adam, my friend Adam, she's I think would be great to chat with. And I was like, we need to get Lauren. I said, you know how people do goat yoga and they have the goat and it just kind of calms everything down and it has a good presence? I said, I think Lauren is like that, but like not a goat, but like Lauren just brings this great energy of like, it makes me feel happy and good to do the podcast. And Erin knew what I was talking about, right?
I was nodding in agreement. Like, yes.
okay.
So you're welcome.
People love baby goats, so I'm gonna
Please take that as the highest compliment.
You are the goat for this podcast.
Greatest of all time.
Absolutely, and yeah, and also you make us all feel good with your energy. So maybe it's those hugs.
Thank you.
It's those repressed hugs, and they're coming out through the screen.
So many repressed hugs.
Yeah.
It's been tough for me.
All right. Well, thank you guys for being here. Let's do it again sometime. Have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Bye, guys. It's nice to meet you, Adam.
Bye, guys. Nice to meet you as well.
All right. Bye-bye.
Speaksies.